Chris Ross is a seasoned consultant and trainer who brings his passion for safety to teach people how to prevent the errors and injuries they never wanted to make in the first place. SafeStart has been taught to over 1.5 million people around the world, with an average injury reduction rate of 50 to 90%.
Well, we haven't come very far because according to the National Safety Council in the US and Canada, we're still killing 5,500 people at work every year. But 5,500 at work, but 35,000 at home, 55,000 on the road, 19,000 in communities, but 98,000 killed due to medical errors. Well, so what's the moral of the story? Spend more time at work, right? So we've got this great new program about spending more time at work. No, seriously, we've got traditional safety management, right? We've got the 3 E's in your company: education, enforcement, engineering. You guys have got machine guards, you've got personal protective equipment. You've got policies, you've got rules, you've got regulations. And when you look at traditional safety management, we mostly focus on hazards, right? We've got inspection checklists and we've got guidelines. And we do lots of training as well, right? We send people to classes and whatnot. But we don't spend much time really teaching people advanced safety skills. How do you prevent those errors and injuries that you never wanted to happen in the first place? Well, let's look at this outfit. Forklift drives off. How would you like to be standing right here? Not so good. Well, do you suppose they have personal protective equipment at the plant? Yeah, you can see the helmet on the corner of the post. Do they have policies, rules, procedures, training? What allowed that to happen? That forklift driver took his mind out of the game for just a minute, right? Took his eye off the ball. Anybody here ever blow through a stop sign before? Yeah. Maybe through a red light? Anybody have documented evidence of that? Okay. Well, SafeStart has a few basic principles, and one of the basic principles is that the hazards of life remain pretty constant, whether we're at work, or at home, or on the road. Let me ask you, how many of you have ever burned yourself on the barbecue or stove before? Okay. Let me ask you a few questions about that. Did you know it was hot? Okay. Did you know it would burn you if it was hot? And did you know it was there? Well, so clearly a barbecue safety training class would not have benefited you in any way, right? So what allowed you to do that? What happened? Yeah, carelessness, not paying attention, took your eye off the ball for just a second, right? So imagine you're a lineman. You've got a pair of dikes, and you're on the job, and you just happen to reach back and make contact with that 40,000 volt line. Pretty serious repercussions. Well, SafeStart is a brand new way of looking at safety. It's not about telling you what to do. It's not about new rules and policies. It's not about new rules and regulations. It's an advanced safety skills class that really teaches you how to identify the errors and injuries that you never wanted to take place in the first place. As I told you before, I used to be a firefighter, and one of our gigs on the Prudhoe Bay Fire Department is we went out for fire training. So one year I'm at Texas A&M, great place to do fire training, fabulous props, really cool. And we were doing an evolution called a smokehouse. In the smokehouse, it is a 2-story house. It has about 15 rooms in it. They fill it full of smoke, and you're in there with your partners. There's 3 of us together. You're in a Scott air pack, and your objective is to make it all the way through the house from beginning to end, go into every room, identify every body that's in there, and come out with your group again. Now, as firefighters, one of the first things you learn is that you crawl low, right? Because of the heat and because of the smoke. So you're on your hands and knees. You're crawling through 15 rooms up and down stairs. So we're doing this. I'm with our crew, and oh, by the way, there is a time limit, right? Because when the air runs out in your air pack, you're pretty much ought to be out. So we're crawling through there. I've got bad knees. I've had bad knees for a long time, and that was one of the banes of my existence as a firefighter, is crawling on my hands and knees. So I take just a little bit of a break, and so I stand up, and I take just 3 steps. Off the balcony, 10 feet, and landed on my back. Fortunately, the Hawaiian Fire Department was right down there. 3 little Hawaiian guys, actually pretty big Hawaiian guys, broke my fall. So I came out of the smokehouse, and we took off our gear, and we're sitting around the picnic table, and the Hawaiians came out. And oh my gosh, big guy! And, well, it could have been a lot worse, right? I could have been seriously injured. I could have broken my back. I could have broken my neck. Well, that state error pattern crept in again. Remember those 4 states? Well, I had 3 of them. Rushing, frustration, actually fatigue, and a little bit of complacency. Had I known the SafeStart principles, that would have allowed me to trigger in on those states and trigger in on that error pattern that was about ready to take place, that caused me to take my mind off the game, take my eyes off of what I was doing. So had I had that SafeStart training, I would have keyed in on those, and that would have prevented that injury.